There it is. You're now on record. Um, so today we're going to go over some. Oh, there's one more person. See, they all show up as soon as you try to get going. That's the way of it. Hello, Marlo.
Hello!
Morning.
Pardon my late joining. I did a bad time conversion in my head.
Ah, where are you based?
I'm in Gatineau, Quebec.
Oh,
So,
Gatineau. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Close to
bienvenue.
me.
Oh, cool. Right on.
We're just about to get going. So you got the handouts and everything. You had a good look at them.
Yep,
All
I
right.
did. Thank you.
I mean, it's not necessarily required. I just would like to know so that I'm not running into questions like, "What are we doing?" I want to make sure everyone's got them, and
Yeah, yeah.
we
Solid peak.
we had
Thank you.
a moment of fright yesterday. I did anyway when I found out that Janice hadn't received hers, and so we got them to her, but it was they try to send them out a week ahead of time. So next workshop that comes around, start looking for the notes about a week ahead. If you haven't
Okay.
got them, let me know. We want to make sure you have them. Um, so we're going to start with Jack of Diamonds. Now, Jack of Diamonds is a very simple 3 chords. You really could do it with 2 if you felt so inclined. Um, but the 7th really helps.
Okay.
And the biggest thing about it is the picking pattern really does a lot to bring out the arrangement, and it sounds like this. So all I'm doing is my thumb is going back and forth on the G and C string, and I start with a pinch where I pinch the first string and the fourth string with my thumb and my ring finger at the same time. Thumb, then I pick the E string,
Oh,
my thumb goes back, so it's like this pattern, right? Thumb, or pinch, thumb on the C string, thumb on the G string, index picking up the E string, and then back on the C. So and that's really the pattern
I'm
of the whole
waiting.
song. Jack of diamonds, Jack of diamonds, Jack of diamonds is a hard card to play.
Oh, wow.
So it's really quite simple. Um, and just all you really need to do is just get that pattern into your hands. Now, if you don't have that quickly, if you haven't done a lot of finger picking, you can strum it. There's no problem with going Jack of diamonds, Jack of diamonds, Jack of diamonds is a hard card to play. But the nice thing about finger picking it is you can add some other nice little features to it, which is what the second sheet shows us. It's a tab of a picking arrangement we can play over those changes, and it looks like this when you're picking it. So 0, 3, 5, 6, 3, 0, 3, 1, 3, 0, 3, G7, and back to there. Now, so the way that looks when you're doing the pattern, I'll just show you, get back on the big view, is my right hand is doing the same picking pattern we've all been doing, right? But now there is a little turnaround at the back end there, but that's the bulk of the song, is that, and that's also your melody, right? So you can train yourself to sing the song. How's that, everyone? Anyone have questions?
Could you go over the picking again, like
Sure.
the pattern of it?
Yeah, the pattern is
Slow to pick up.
okay, that's fine. You don't have to, it's all right to be slow. So, our pattern is with our right hand. We've got our thumb. We should talk about finger picking in general first. What I tend to do with finger picking is I assign a finger to each string. So my thumb lands on the G string. My index finger, in a pure sense, would cover the C string. In this case, it doesn't, but that's how you want to think of it. And then your middle finger on the E, and your pinky or your ring finger, pardon me, on the A string, the first string. And in this case, what we're doing is our thumb is going back and forth between the G and the C string. So I've already countered what I just said about assigning a finger, but this is an important element because this is the sound, the engine of that picking pattern. If you look at that chart, you've got this going every single bar, no matter what chord you're playing, your thumb is doing this. And so the pattern starts with a pinch, where we start with our thumb on the G string and our ring finger on the A string, first and fourth, and we pinch them together. Then the thumb strikes the C string, and then it comes back to the G, and then we pick the E string, the C string again. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you just over and over again. And yeah, it really is driven by just the thumb. As a matter of fact, if you're working away on it and you're having trouble getting the whole pinch together, if you just got your thumb going, you could do the whole song that way. In fact, I won't do anything else. I'll just leave this. My left hand, you can't see it here. My left hand, not on the instrument at all. Jack of diamonds, Jack of diamonds, Jack of diamonds is a hard card to play. Now, when I play that G7, that C becomes a D, right on that second fret. So that is the one change. That's the one note that doesn't work without that. But it really is just your thumb driving it. And so if you just get your thumb used to doing that, the rest becomes a little easier. Now, the hard part about finger picking is getting out of your way to just repeat a motion over and over again. You just have to make it automatic. And the only way I know to do that is to do it over and over and over again until everyone in your house hates you, your cat wants to claw your hands out because you just sit there doing this for hours at a time. So if I were trying to learn this pattern and I hadn't done any finger picking, I would just sit there in front of the TV with even tie a sock on the end of your ukulele and just until you can do it while you carry on a conversation and keep a steady tempo, because it needs to be automatic, especially when you want to start doing that other picking stuff that I've added into it. It's not overly complicated, I swear to you. If you've never picked, though, it can be a lot to think in terms of what your left hand is doing with your fingers. My goal with this workshop was not to challenge you to the nth degree. It was to start to give you glimpses. So you can do all of these songs by just strumming, but if you want to branch into some of the other stuff, that was the goal. And that's why there's a mix throughout these 3 songs of finger picking, strumming, and every one of them are accessible. Any other questions as we go onward? Jasmine, how are you doing? Okay. Marlo? How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm kind of slow, but your explanations and getting us there is helping a lot. So I'm getting the little
All right. It's
yeah,
just practice. I swear it's
yeah.
just practice. And this is entry-level finger picking, and what I mean by that, of course, is that this is not really advanced. It starts to move into that with this little melody, but the melody just means, let me start over on that. The way to play that melody is, think of that pinch move, right? That we start with this pattern. That's all I've done there. And on the tab, you'll see a little upwards angle on that sixth note. That means technically you're bending it just a little sharp. It's a blue note is what it is, right? So you don't have to do it. You can just land on that note fine. But if you want, you just push that up a little bit as you hit it. So you hear that melody is always pinches, right?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
I'm feeling like needing to stabilize with like one of my other fingers on the lower strings while I'm picking. Is there a finger that would be optimal to have available later and to train one to kind of like be a little kickstand? Does that
Well,
make sense?
yeah, sure. This is a great question. This is the one of the ongoing debates between styles of finger picking. A classical style of picking would tell you to anchor your pinky on the instrument, but your hand is floating above the strings at that point, which is great for when you want every note to ring. But a hallmark of the blues style is that you only let the notes ring that you want to ring. Now, I don't want to make this more complicated for you. Do it whatever you're comfortable with. But a palm mute is what happens then. And the palm mute idea, whoops, wrong one. The palm mute is that you lay your palm on your bridge, and then you only let the strings ring that you want. So I could do this without my palm coming off it, and you hear. Now, is that the right way to go about it? I don't know. I mean, I know that that's the way I learned to pick this style. If you're comfortable anchoring your pinky, you can totally get away with that. And in fact, in this particular song, there's no straight muting that goes on. You know, it's like... My hand is in fact behind my bridge right now, so it might look like I'm muting it, but really I wish you could see my view. It's like it's landing there and I'm hovering over top of it. I find that this is always a difficult subject because everyone has a different comfort level with it. But I find that when you're finger picking, you probably want to be closer to the bridge than over here where you strum. Partly because you don't want the fingerboard under your fingers, which happens with a lot of ukuleles. You want the space. The other thing is the strings are tighter here, which means that you get more resistance from the string as you hit it, and it doesn't, like, you don't flop it around a little bit. It gives you a little bit more control. So that could help with your anchoring problem as well.
Yeah, you nailed it. I never thought about where the palm should go. I'm always up here, so this is
and strumming,
very
they tell you to
helpful.
be over that 12th fret, right? What I think
over the 12th fret?
Well, that's what they say with strumming.
Yeah.
The idea is to strum over the 12th fret. I find that the logic of strumming here, it's there to give you a good full sound, but it ignores the fact that there is an entire spectrum of sound between the 12th fret and your bridge. And if you want a tighter strum, you play closer to the bridge. If you want it to be looser, you play up here, and it's a little more mellow up by the 12th fret, but it's brighter. And I think when I watch really great players of stringed instruments in general, but ukuleles for sure, they play all over this area. There isn't really one spot, so it's kind of, you just have to sort of, I guess the word is develop a technique based upon what you're doing and what's comfortable with your hands. Like I'm known for saying, oh, do it this way, but really what I believe there's advantages for doing it a specific way. But I also believe that all roads lead to Rome. If you find a path that works for you, go for it. it may limit you some other way later on, but that's a personal challenge to face. You know, like I had the lesson I learned was I had a workshop customer a long time ago. I was teaching him something, and I wanted him to use his pinky on the third fret here because of another figure, and his hand he had had an injury, and this pinky was fused, so he could not use it. So I had to give him a different fingering, which did create a problem later on, because that was why I suggest the other one. But that was his problem to deal with. You know, like it's like, okay, this is your path. You have to figure out how to get there. And this is the idea. And that lesson for me was that idea that you can approach this however way works for you. You know, there's a recommended method that people have figured out is the best way to work with when everything is functioning as it should, but sometimes it doesn't function that way. You might have some kind of limitation factor in your hand. You might have arthritis. You might not be able to do certain things. You find your path, and my job will be to coach you the best I can within that. How are you doing, Janice? I can't hear you.
Great. No, I appreciate the extra tips on the picking, because I haven't done a lot of picking, and I was just getting into a bit of island strum, I think, with the camp a couple of years ago, and that was fun. But that was a bit of a exercise for me. But picking is something else.
Sure, and it really opens up a world of sonic possibilities for the instrument to go back and forth. If you ever watch me perform, you'll notice that I sort of live between both worlds all the time. Like every song has picking and strumming in it. I'm never really one way all the way. And that's just because of years of playing. And I think it adds so much to our playing. Let's move on. Not because I think you've got it, but I think you understand what you're going to practice on and you hear it. I have put out the video online of Jack of Diamonds. It is in the Facebook page. You can watch me playing it and sort of play through it. And I'm playing as close as I can to the picking arrangement on the tab. I say as close as I can. I simplified the arrangement for you, and I try to not overdo it, but sometimes I forget. So you might find things. Oh, what I didn't do is go over the little turnaround at the end. The last two bars, 8 and 9, or I can't even see what they are, but whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 and 8. The turnaround is this. It's like as if you're playing a C chord. I'm going to get my close up here on this hand. You're playing a C chord. This is an example of reasons to use your pinky, because we're going to cover that one there, and it's actually a little easier even with our ukulele to do it with the third finger. But the whole idea of this is I've got my pinch, and then I pluck the first fret on the E string, and I do a pull off. That's what that thing means. Pull off, and it's so that's kind of what that sounds like. So altogether, the arrangement sounds like this. That's what that sounds like. So in context, it would be Jack of Diamonds, Jack of Diamonds, Jack of Diamonds is a hard card to play. So it's just a nice little wrap up. And in terms of what's happening there, like, I mean, obviously I'm picking down there. When you see the note 2 in that last bar 7 and 8, the note 2, imagine you're playing your G7 chord, right? You've got your C chord held down, but you're adding that G7 on it, and that's that 2 note comes out of that, right? So it's like you're going between the C and the G7. So a lot of this stuff is pretty simple when you start looking for those patterns, but the hard part is if you're not used to looking for them, you can get caught up in thinking you're doing something new and it gets confusing. But it's not a full, you're not actually adding the whole chord, but you could because it would sound fine. Then we get into Gambling Man. Now, this is in the key of A, and I did that specifically to make it more interesting. I was doing everything in C, and then I realized it was all going to sound the same roughly if we didn't do that, and I wanted to give you a little bit more variety. My notes keep jumping. I have hotkeys set up for Zoom, but they work great, but they also affect my PDF reader. So I'm looking at the notes every time I hit a camera, my PDF jumps to a new page. It's crazy. I have to work that one out. So Gambling Man is a simple 12-bar blues, and you can do this simply by just strumming down, up, down, up, down, up. On the notes, I noticed there's a U missing at the end of the strum pattern. It is supposed to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you get that 2 and 4 heavy beat and the backbeat on the up strum. And this is what would be known as it's a 12-bar blues, but it's also what's known as a fast 4. And that's a fun term that all it really means is that instead of playing 4 bars of the first chord, you add the 4 chord, which in this case is a D, early on in the second bar of that first phrase. See how that pattern is written out? That's all that means. But I like educating these terms or illuminating these terms, because if you hear other blues players talking, if you ever go to a blues jam, you might hear someone say it's a 12 bar with a fast 4, and you don't know what that means. But that's all it means, is that the 4 chord comes in early, and it's and then it goes back. So a 12 bar, of course, is 4 bars of our root chord, generally speaking, 2 bars of our 4 chord, 2 bars of our root chord, 1 bar of our 5, 1 bar of our 4, and the last 2 bars are called the turnaround. It's usually 1 bar of the root chord and 1 bar of the 5. Now, because I'm sure I've just glossed over a whole bunch of stuff for you, let's talk slightly for a moment about the number system of chords, because it really simplifies things, but if you haven't heard it, it's confusing. We're playing this song in the key of A. If you listed all the chords in A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, and you accounted for just putting numbers under all of them, A would be the first chord, D would land in the 4th position, and E would land in the 5th position. Now, so this would be referred to as a 1-4-5 blues, and anyone who knows that number system and knows what a 12-bar blues is knows that these are the chords are the chords of the key you're in. That's the logic of that phrase. And I like people knowing this stuff, not just because it's like fun to have extra knowledge, but because it really simplifies conversations later on, because chords are, I guess the word I want to use is interchangeable. Jasmine might sing this song better in G. She could do the same song in G by using the 1-4-5 chords in G. So she's got an instant transposition just because she can do that. And, Janet might want to do the song in C. I mean, that's the whole point. The number system tells you the formula, and then you put it in the key that works for you. And that's what blues players have done since the beginning of time. They would sing where they could sing, and they would use the same patterns. So that's why that number system matters. I want to make sure that I remind myself, and that's what all of this has been about, to make sure you guys understand what I think all the time when I think this stuff, because I could very easily keep talking in numbers and never talk about what's in front of us. So our pattern is very simple. It's just a down, up, down, up. We want to emphasize beats 2 and 4. That's why they're bolded. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm a gambling man, I'm a gambling man. Gambling all night long. Back to D. I'm a gambling man, I'm a gambling man. Gambling all night long, back to A. Yes, I'm gonna gamble this time, baby. Bring my good gal home. Yes, I'm gambling down in New Orleans, gambling down on Rampart Street. Oh, I gamble down in New Orleans, gamble down on Rampart Street. I fell in love with a good old gal, and her name was Peggy D. So, you see how you could very easily just play it that way over and over. But what makes the blues fun is the shuffle notes and some of the other stuff. And so in this case, with the A, we're going to do a nice little move where we're going to add the 6th note, which we're going to do by using our ring finger on our fretting hand to the 2nd fret of the E string. So under your A chord, think of that little triangle like you would play a G7, but 1 fret closer to your face, or 1 string closer to your face, I mean to say. Do you see that pattern that you're making? Janice, are you all right there? You got it?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
I got it.
I was just
Yeah.
watching you looking around. I want to make sure you're understanding. All right, so the trick is this. We're going to go down, up, then we're going to add that 2nd finger in, down, up, take it away, down, up, and put it back. So it's going to sound like that. And my notes have jumped all over the place again, so let me get back to it. So we're going to do it like this. I'm a gambling man, D chord, gambling down all night, A, back to the A, and we'll add that shuffle. And D, gambling man, I'm a gambling man, gambling all night long, back to that A with the shuffle. I'm going to E7 this time, baby, bring my good gal A, and E7. So that really, I mean, it's simple, adds a little nice motion to the whole thing. And one of my favorite tricks with all of that is you can also add your pinky onto the 3rd fret of the E string as a 7th once in a while. So if you're about to make a change, you could do it that way. So it sounds like this. I'm a gambling man, I'm a gambling man, gambling all night long. And here it's I'm a gambling man, I'm a gambling man. But you only do that flat 7th note, that 3rd fret, right before a change. So, because it's supposed to lead you into it. And the way to do it is, instead of the normal pattern is just straight take away, like add on, take away. You're going to go, so you never go back to the root, right? It goes all the way up. Does that make sense? Yes? Janet? I saw the light bulb go on in your head there. All right. Now, I did not indicate the D chord, but there's a great shuffle to be had in the D chord. The reason I did not indicate it is that it's going to involve some bars, and this is where I think is the stretch for a lot of people. The easiest way to do the shuffle on the D chord is to place your index finger completely across the 2nd fret, and you're going to use on the G string above it, on the 4th fret and the 5th fret are your shuffle places. And I think that this is not going to be an easy move for everyone, because most people play their D chords like this, right? So I always prefer to do it as a bar, but that's come from years of playing it that way. So what you want to do with this is you're doing the same motion, but you're using your ring finger to drop down on, oops, I thought I had it there, on the 4th fret of the G string. So you get this. And that's really going to pay off when I start looking at the transcription that I sent you, because there's another little thing we're going to do on D. But this is a harder finger move for you to get used to. It's not very complicated, but it's a little harder to get used to. And then, of course, the last bit is our turnaround, which is actually pretty easy, but it breaks away from everything that we have done so far. And on the transcription, you'll note that there are 3 variations of the turnaround listed for you. The main one is taking our G7 shape. We're going to bring it up 2 frets to A7. Do you understand what when I say that, Jasmine? I want to make sure you're paying attention. If you take that G7 shape, you slide it up 2 frets. Do you see how that's a A7? The G7 shape, not the G. You're playing the G there from what I can see. Yeah. Bring that up. Now that's an A7. And what we're going to do is we're going to use that A7 and we're going to play a figure where we are plucking the 2 middle strings, the C and the E strings, twice, and then we drop that 1 fret twice and down. So yeah. That's what we're achieving with that turnaround. So it's going to sound like this in context, okay? So I'll start at the beginning of the 12 bar, and I'll get to the turnaround so you can see it. Gambling man, I'm a gambling man, gambling all night long. Yes, I'm a gambling man, gambling all night long. I'm gonna gamble this time, baby. Bring my good gal home. So it's just this lovely, not complicated, but now variation 2 of that is even simpler. It's the exact same sound of that 2 beats every time. But what you're going to do is just put your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the E string, and you're going to, with your fretting hand, you're going to be plucking the E and the A string, and you're going to put them both together, then drop down to 2, drop down to 1, and then open. So, whereas this one, you're using the middle strings, your finger there is... So it's the same thing. Does that make sense, Janice? You look confused. Not Janet, Janice.
Which are you plucking the strings at the same time or separately?
At the same time. So the first variation is on the middle 2 strings.
Yep.
You've got that G7 shape, the top of it, that moves down from A to G sharp to G7 and open.
Okay.
The second variation is the top 2 strings, the E and the A string. But it's the same thing. You're plucking them both at the same time. And that's the second variation. So
yeah,
the reason for variations is that when you're repeating this over and over again, throwing in different variations keeps that ear listening, even though you're playing the same thing. So I'll do 2 patterns here and 2 verses. And on each one, I'll do a different variation on the turnaround. And you can hear how it sort of plays in. Gambling man, I'm a gambling man, gambling all night long. Yes, I'm a gambling man, I'm a gambling man, gambling all night long. Yes, I'm gonna gamble this time, baby. Bring my good gal home. Well, I'll gamble down in New Orleans, gamble down on Rampart Street. Yes, I gamble down in New Orleans, gamble down on Rampart Street. I fell in love with a good little girl, and her name was Peggy D. So it's the same thing, but it's different, if that makes any sense in that logic. Now, here's where I know if I haven't already lost you, I'm going to lose you. There's 2 things that we can add in that are fun. They're not all that hard. The first one is pretty easy. So we've been playing this A figure for the shuffle. Now, in that turnaround, we just discovered our G7 shape moved up to 2 frets is an A7. So on these middle A's, so when you're looking at the pattern, you've got the first A, the first D, and then those 2 A's that follow it, two bars. Second part of the phrase, you've got the 2 bars of D, and then 2 bars of A that follow it. These are in between sections lyrically in this song. They're just musical. So here's a thing you can do to make your playing a little more interesting, again, so that you're not just playing this shuffle over and over again. And as I mentioned, when you go up to that flat 7 on the shuffle, that's a 7 chord, right? So you're turning your A into a 7. Well, we can use our A7 that we just figured out is by moving up, and we can throw this little riff in. And the riff just sounds like this, where I grab the G string with my thumb, and then my ring finger plucks up across all the strings, and I've just got the 4th fret on the C string and the 3rd fret on the E string fretted. So it's like take that A7 and lift your ring finger up so that you've got that E on the bottom. It sounds like this when you put it all together, and this will take practice, but I guarantee you it's nice to have. You could do this as a straight strum as well, not for what I'm doing. I'm a gambling man, I'm a gambling man. I gamble all night long. Yes, I'm a gambling man, I'm a gambling man. Gamble all night long. And I'm gonna gamble this time, babies. Bring my good gal home. And it's just making use of that. Now you can do it just by strumming like that, even if you wanted to. I think it sounds really nice when you get that, and all you're getting is that back thing. 1 and 2, 3. It's just this weird. I can't even count it properly, to be honest. It's a feel thing. You've got to think in terms of your time. You've got your 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like it just, you're ringing a bell. That's the only way I can think of it. Bang, 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 bang. That's the first part. It's fun to add in. And thinking in terms of it as a 7 chord when you're playing over that A and it's just giving you that extra tension, that's the way to approach it. It is all about expression and tension, and you can do fun things with it. So I'm literally just landing on it, but you could slide that chord in from the 3rd fret up to the 5th, or 2nd fret up to the 3rd fret every time you grab it. All of it is just making a little extra noise. And the last part that you're really going to hate me for is the D chord. When you're playing those 2 bars of D, there's a riff that I put in my transcription that I think is worth playing. And you'll see it when you get to the 2 bars of D. Where are they? Here they are. Bars 7 and 8. So you've got this, you're doing this shuffle, as I mentioned it. You've got the 4 and the 5. So the 4th fret on your G string. Let me get that close up. You've got the shuffle going on. And then you add your ring finger to the 4th fret. Your pinky goes up to the 5th fret. Back down to the 4th. And then here's the fun part. Open D. Your pinky goes up to the 5th fret. No, it's supposed to be. It says 5th. It's supposed to be the 2nd. 6th, I mean. 6. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. 5th and 3rd. I'm on the wrong fret on my hand. So you're doing 5, 3. So what's happening there is we're adding our pinky to the D chord there. That makes that the D major. And then we remove the pinky and pick the 3rd fret on it, which makes it a D7. So you got this shuffle that's going up. Does that make sense? Or have I totally stumbled on my language and confused you? That's why I'm stopping, because I can see Janice Jasmine has it figured out. How are you doing, Janice?
Yeah, no, not really quite getting it, but that's
Okay.
okay.
Well, what's missing? Because I want to make sure I'm saying this completely clear. So we've got our D chord barred. We've got the shuffle happening, which is the 4th fret and the 5th fret on our G string, right? So, right, that's the first bar. The second bar, our pinky goes up to the 5th fret on the A string, giving us a D major chord, and then the 3rd fret on the A string, which gives us a D7 chord. Is that clearer?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. And Marlo, how are you hanging on?
I'm doing okay. I think the strumming of it is confusing me maybe because I got the bar and the fifth and the third.
Okay.
How am I?
So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and yeah, you're right. If you're going to strum it, you just want to strum down, down. Like you want to, instead of doing it like that, you want to just accent those notes. So that's like our normal strum, and then
All right.
Okay.
right, so that you get that. Now this is the most complicated move in the whole thing. I'll be honest with you, because you're moving your fingers across the top, and you're holding a bar the whole time. Which, if you haven't done a lot of that, you're going to find that you're complaining about what I'm making you do. Altogether, this sounds like this. I'm a gambling man, I'm a gambling man. Gamble all night long. Yes, I'm a gambling man, I'm a gambling man. Gamble all night. Whoops, I totally screwed it up. Gambling man, I'm a gambling man. Gambling all night long. Yes, I'm going to gamble down in Mississippi. Don't I'm making up these words as I go along. Yes, I gamble down in New Orleans, Louisiana. Gamble down on Rampart Street. Yes, I gamble down in New Orleans. Down on Rampart Street. Yes, I met a good little girl and her name was Peggy D. So the variations there, and the last variation in the turnaround, by the way, is the same as the second variation, except in the way you pick it. So the second variation, we're just doing this 1 and 2 and 3 and open. In the third, we're breaking it into triplets, and what we're doing is we pick the one together, and then the A string by itself. Now a triplet counts 1 and 2 and 3 and so in the way you see that bar written, you've got 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and so it goes like this. You've got the A chord, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now that's an ending turnaround. That's the kind of thing where you also start to retard your playing and slow it down so that you're coming to the end of the blues. So if I were, gambling man, I'm a gambling man, and I'm gambling down in New Orleans. Yes, I'm a gambling man, I'm a gambling man. Gamble down in New Orleans. And I met a good little gal, and her name was Peggy D. So it really is that finality. But it gives you that variation so that the song isn't just the same thing over and over and over again. Which is one of the hallmarks of the blues, is that the patterns repeat, but they don't repeat. They have all these little variations that you throw in. And it allows you to play the same thing over and over again for a long time while other people are soloing and never sound the same. But it's the hardest skill for a blues player to learn at the beginning, is that you have to learn multiple ways to do the same thing, because that's how you get the variations. And now for a little snack. When Nicole and I were talking about this thing, we talked about the various ways we want the workshops to go, and I said in conversation at one point, and I was, you know, I want to make sure that the core of all these things are accessible, and that, you know, there's a lot of stuff to grab onto, the meat, but I also want some fun little bits, you know, as a treat. She said, the meat and the treat. I like that. So this is your treat. It's a song, first, that you'll probably know more than the other stuff that I just did, which is why I didn't bother doing a video on it. The hard part of it is I'm going to make you finger pick it. So instead of just strumming away the way you might already know the song, I want you to use a 6/8 finger picking pattern. Now, this is the easiest pattern ever, because all you're going to do is run your fingers up and down the strings in a 6/8 pattern. Now, a 6/8 counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So on your ukulele, that sounds like this. Again, we're going to lock all of our fingers on the strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you're going to do this for the whole song. All of the 6 verses and all of the changes. There is a house in New Orleans. They call, this is a little high for me, the rising sun. And it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know I am one. Now my mother, she was a tailor. She sewed my new blue jeans. My father, he was a gambling man, way down in New Orleans. Anyway, and so on and so on and so on. But it's a good workout for your picking hand, and start building the skills of using all your fingers over and over again. And because the pattern repeats continuously with no variations, it's a good way to just get that to become automatic and start triggering those fingers when you need them. And it's a song you already know. So that's our treat.
Yeah. So
how do you feel about today so far?
I'm glad you threw in House of the Rising Sun that way, because way back when I actually finally had a couple of lessons in person, that was one of the pieces.
Yeah.
And I remember working on it then. Now that was like 8 years ago, but this is good because this is the way I'll get back into trying more stuff. And then the others, it'll just be, like you say, sitting in front of the TV or whatever and just working on the patterns.
Well, and that's just it. It really is just repetition. Marlo, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm learning that I need to learn reading tabs a bit more, because I kind of got it at the very end and it was really handy.
Oh,
And
nice.
I appreciate the way this is all taught. I'm having a good time, so I'm stoked for next
Good.
one.
I like using tabs because it shows the finger placement on the instrument, but a lot of people don't know how to read tabs, so I'm glad you brought that up. If you are having questions about how to read tab, please let me know. I'll happily talk you through it, because it's really useful for illustrating, and it's a way where I can demonstrate a thing, but then if you remember my demonstration and then you see the tab, you see what's going on, right? And it's like, oh yeah, that's the whole point. But what it doesn't teach you is the right hand. That's the hard part. I can't always indicate that. Although, when you look at the tab for House of the Rising Sun, I did include the classical finger picking notations for your fingers, like thumb, index, middle, etc. I never used those. I don't remember ever seeing them on books when I worked at it, but I wanted to make sure I'm covering all angles for everyone who ever looks at this stuff. The other note about tab to remember, and not all tab does this, but anybody who's professional with tab does it, is the indications of time are the same as on a staff sheet. So when you see a line coming down on a bar, well, that's clearly an eighth note. If you see on one of the other tabs, I've got a couple of examples of a line coming off it with no staff, well, that's a quarter note. If it's got a circle around it, that's a half note. You know, if a circle and a staff, that's a half note. Just like you would see a regular notation. The difference is all the notation symbols fall below the staff. I couldn't tell you why this is the way it is. Whoever designed staff notation, that's what they came up with. Also in Gambling Man, you'll notice above the symbols a open-ended square and then a V. These are strumming definitions, and for reasons, again, that I couldn't tell you why, the square with the open bottom is a downward stroke, and the V is an upwards. Now, it makes sense when you think about the tab being upside down on the ukulele. The down is this hammer coming down, and then the V is you're going back up. But it looks strange on paper because it's inverted, right? So it looks like the opposite, but it is down and and up.
Can I ask a question about that, actually?
Yes.
So on the parts where there's only fingers for like 2 or 3 strings, but there's still a strum, like, do you still strum all the strings?
Yes and no. This is a complicated answer. I want it to be a simpler answer. Let me think for a second here. Some chords don't work with all the notes. So you want to be careful when approaching something like that. But like when you see on Gambling Man the D, where I don't have any fret listed on that top string, that's because to play a proper D chord, you want to have that open E string. In this arrangement, you're getting that note up here, right? So you don't need it there because this note is this note. So I didn't include it. Technically, if you're doing a bar across a D here, that's a D6 chord. But if you focus your strum just on the top strings, that won't matter. So the answer to your question would be yes, you just strum right through. More complicated answer, you mute the strings you don't want to hear. And I do this all the time. I also use a lot of partial chords when I play. So if I'm playing something and I need a sound, a chord, but it's too hard to get a really good clean fingering at the moment, that I find what I need from the chord and that's what I use. But I also, again, because I go back and forth, I don't strum everything. So often I will just pluck if I'm seeing that. So like that D, for example, instead of strumming it through like this, I might do it.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying you should. I'm saying, it's like, it really comes down to what you're comfortable with and how you get there. But paying attention that not all notes work, Janice, any questions?
No questions. No.
All right. Well, this has been fun. Thank you for coming to my workshop.
Actually, I have one question for Marlo. Do you play ukulele in Ottawa at all?
No, no, but I may eventually soon.
Yeah, there's a group in Ottawa, I guess. I haven't joined them at all, but I think they play monthly
Is it Bug?
Yeah,
Yes.
Bytown Ukulele Group. They're one of the best in the country.
Yeah.
Whenever when I used to tour all the time, I would stop in there frequently because I love that group. I considered it my home ukulele group because we don't have one in Shelburne. And it was easier for me to stop in Ottawa than to drive up to Halifax, believe it or not. And great people, Mark and Sue, they do great arrangements. And they used to have a slow jam, I don't know if they still do, where their regular night was just they play through songs really like at the normal pace, and it's, But if you're brand new to the ukulele, you can do the slow jam where they do the same songs, but they do them at like half the tempo.
Nice. Yeah.
What I do know is, unless they've moved, it was at the Watchtower, I believe
Yes.
it was.
Yeah, it was the Watchtower. Yeah.
You had to get there early if you
Yeah.
wanted to sit down. So, if, for example, if the jam was at 7 o'clock, go there at 5 for supper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally, because anybody who shows up at 7 is like standing on the fringes, and you don't have a good seat or a table. It was literally packs up that fast.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. I believe it. Yeah.
But it's a great group. I recommend them highly. Absolutely.
Okay.
Jasmine, are you still practicing playing in Bathurst with the ladies up there, or?
No, I'm in Halifax. That was
Halifax.
my relatives that are in Bathurst.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
That's okay.
I thought you were up there, but yes. Well, then you must.
Yeah, I
be
go up there in
Hug.
the summer usually, so
Yeah, you must be going to Hug then.
I haven't been actually. I have like a conflict on the same night, so I haven't been
Oh.
able to go. I've just been playing by myself at home.
Brian has his group on a different day in
Okay.
Halifax, so check out his his group
Yeah.
as well, because that could work for your schedule better.
Yeah. Good to know.
Cool.
Well, great.
Oh, good.
Mark has just arrived. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Well, yeah, well, we'll say hi to him and we'll explain that he just missed everything. I've just admitted him, so hopefully he'll get in here.
Where does Mark?
Math, man, they didn't teach us that in school, right? I don't think.
Yeah. Mark is on the West Coast,
Oh, okay.
so I think
Okay.
he missed the time change properly. Hi, Mark.
Morning.
We're just finishing. I guess it's a little late for you or early for you because you're an hour late for us.
Oh, I thought it started at this. I'm sorry, my mistake.
No, I figured that was the case. I feel bad now because we just finished. We waited a few minutes, but I did record everything, so you'll be able to watch it and go over it.
Oh,
But
great.
I'll tell you
Great.
what,
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you
happy
for
to-
doing that.
No worries. I'm happy to hang around for a while. If you have any questions about the handouts or anything, I'm in no hurry to rush off. I just
Okay, well,
Whatever.
I'll watch
I don't
the
wanna-
recording, and then if there's anything, I'll send you an email.
Okay, well, but stay on for just a minute. I don't want to force the ladies to hang around. You all can welcome. I'm happy to hang around, and if you have any other questions, I just want to make sure that we all got our money's worth and we're all happy, and then we go forward with our next one.
Just
Sounds
one
good.
more comment. The turnarounds were awesome.
Oh, thank you, Janet. I'm going to try to keep doing that, variations and everything.
Yeah,
That was fun.
All right, great.
it's fun.
Well, Mark, did you have a chance to look at the handouts? We'll just do a quick.
I did. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Now, you get the benefit of one thing that everyone else is going to find hard. So, I made videos of Gambling Man and of the other one that my head has just totally escaped me as I'm talking.
Jack Diamond?
Yes, Jack of Diamonds and Gambling Man. I did Gambling Man on the baritone because it suits my voice better than A on the ukulele. But I wanted to make sure we stuck to the concert ukulele for everyone because that was the arrangement. So
Yeah, you've got those in Patreon, don't you?
I do, yeah. I was going to say that for you, you're used to playing it on baritone. The transcription that I've written out and sent you for C6 tuning will work on baritone tuning. It just falls in E instead of A. So
That's
you
fine
use
with
all the
me.
same notes, just ignore the names that are written above them.
Yeah.
Which is actually that's a fun little tidbit for everyone. Is the relationship between baritone tuning and soprano tuning is 1/5 different, but the string relationships are the same. So if you've got a tab that is written for baritone tuning that you want to play, you can play it as if you were playing a baritone in your C6 tuning. It's just going to be 1/5 higher. So again, if you think you're playing in G, you're going to be playing in C, on your ukulele. And the reverse is also true, right? So you can, if you already have a bunch of stuff in soprano, you can play those same shapes on your baritone, and it's just going to be lower. So it's a
Right.
great way to expand your vocabulary. The language changes, but the actual relationships don't, so you just can keep doing the same thing.
Right. So what time is it where you are now, Hal?
It is now 3 o'clock.
Oh, okay. So
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying. You're 1 hour out.
I'm 1 hour off. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to keep that in mind now because our clocks don't quite. Yeah, there's not a 3 hour difference anymore. It's a 4 hour.
The 4 hour. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
aren't going to change anymore, so you'll be stuck this place forever.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, Mark is the West Coast. So we've got everyone from the Ottawa region to the East and the West Coast here.
Well, I'll soon be in Ottawa. I'm moving back home in September after more than 50 years.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
I'm coming back.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, my sisters reached out to me and said, You've been gone for more than 50 years. You think you can give us the last few years of your life?
There you go. Wow,
So I'm coming home.
wow.
Wow.
That's
Just waiting to
fantastic.
get cervical surgery done, and then I'm on my way.
Right. So did you have any questions on the notes, Mark, before I let you all go, or?
No, I'm gonna review the video that you sent, and if I do, I'll get in touch with you through Patreon or something.
Absolutely. Yes, that actually brings up a good point. I'm going to list this as a private video on YouTube. I'll send you all the link. You'll all be listed as able to watch it. If you want to join my Patreon, this is a plug, a blatant commercial, but of course Janet's already there and Mark's already there. These were going to be archived for my patrons forever. The YouTube link I'm only going to leave up for a week or two. So,
Okay.
the idea is, of course, that this has to live somewhere. But, if I keep that YouTube link live forever, it's just going to glut up my feed over there, and it's much easier to put it in one place. And
I'll give you a little plug. If you join Patreon, you also get this at a discounted price.
well, that's true. Yes, those of you who didn't do through Patreon, you paid a little more. I'll be honest. Now, but Patreon is a monthly commitment, though, so I'm getting the money the other way.
Yeah,
I'll
right.
put it that way. But you don't have to either way. I feel even awkward saying that. Of course, I'd love you to be there, but we're going to keep going the way we are. And just a quick reminder, I said it already. You're going to get the notes sent out about a week before this. If you don't see them, check your spam folders, email me, whatever else, because I want to make sure that you get everything ahead of time so that you can look it over and have your questions ready for us, and instead of landing cold and confused. Otherwise, go forth and have a great ukulele Saturday.
Great.
Yeah, this is
Right on.
Thank
Nice
you.
to,
Take
nice
care.
to
Nice
brief.
meeting y'all.
Yeah, nice
See you
to
next
briefly
time.
meet you all. No, catch you next time.
Next time. Yeah.
Next time. Thank you.
all right.
Okay.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Cheers.